On the night of 12 February 1993, a quiet street in Bootle, Merseyside, became the stage for a horror so brutal and senseless that it would forever scar a nation's collective conscience. Two 10-year-old boys, Robert Hughes and John Venables, abducted a toddler named James Bulger, dragged him into the darkness, and subjected him to a night of unimaginable cruelty that ended in his death. The case shocked the United Kingdom, ignited fierce debates about childhood, violence, and the limits of the justice system, and left an indelible mark on the fabric of British society. James Bulger was born on 16 March 1990 in Liverpool, the son of a single mother who worked long hours to make ends meet. By the time he turned 3, James was a lively, curious child who loved dinosaurs, cartoons, and playing in the streets with his friends. In the early 1990s, it was common for children in the Northwest to roam the neighborhoods unsupervised, a practice rooted in a culture of trust and communal vigilance. This environment, however, also made it easy for strangers, and in this case peers, to blend into the background. Robert Hughes and John Venables lived in a council flat not far from James's home. Both came from troubled backgrounds. Hughes's mother struggled with alcohol, while Venables' father had been absent for years. The boys were known to local police for minor offenses, vandalism, petty theft, and truancy, but they were never seen as a serious threat. Their friendship was forged in the alleys and playgrounds of Bootle, where they shared a fascination with horror films and a reckless desire for attention. On the evening of 12 February, the three boys set off together, ostensibly to go to a nearby playground. As they walked, Hughes and Venables began to taunt James, calling him the baby and pushing him repeatedly. A short distance from James's home, the pair slipped away, taking James with them. The trio entered a nearby shopping precinct where the boys were later seen laughing and gesturing, while James clutched a small plastic dinosaur, his eyes wide with fear. The abduction turned into a nightmare when the two older boys led James to a deserted lane. There, they beat him with a wooden stake, kicked him repeatedly, and placed a rope around his neck, choking him as they dragged him further into the night. The assault lasted for hours. At one point, they even threw James onto a pile of rubbish before retrieving him and continuing the torment. By the early hours of 13 February, the boys had abandoned James, whose small body was later discovered on a railway line near Walton, covered in blood and bruises. He had died from a severe brain injury and multiple fractures sustained during the prolonged attack. The discovery of James's body sent shockwaves through the nation. News outlets broadcast the harrowing details, and a massive police operation was launched to locate the perpetrators. Within hours, detectives traced CCTV footage from a local shop that captured Hughes and Venables walking with a child who matched James's description. The footage, combined with witness statements, led to the immediate arrest of the two 10-year-olds. Their confession, obtained after several hours of questioning, was chilling in its detail. They described the attack as a game and admitted that they had planned to have a bit of fun with James. The trial, held at Preston Crown Court in November 1993, was unprecedented. It marked the first time in modern British legal history that children as young as 10 were tried in an adult court for murder. The prosecution, led by Sir William Macpherson, argued that despite their age, Hughes and Venables possessed the capacity to understand the consequences of their actions. The defense, meanwhile, emphasized their immaturity, arguing that they were influenced by a volatile home environment and lacked true intent. The courtroom was packed with journalists, activists, and members of the public, all bearing the weight of a nation's outrage. Emotional testimonies poured in. James's mother, Denise Bulger, recounted the day she realized her son was missing and described the crushing emptiness that followed. A forensic pathologist detailed the brutal injuries, painting a picture of sustained, deliberate violence. The prosecution presented the boy's confession, the CCTV evidence, and expert testimony on child psychology to argue that the defendants were fully aware that their actions would cause death. After a week of testimony, the jury deliberated for just 2 hours before returning a guilty verdict on both counts of murder. The judge sentenced each boy to indefinite detention at Her Majesty's Young Offenders Institution, with a minimum term of 8 years, a decision that sparked immediate controversy. Critics argued that the sentence was either too harsh for children or, conversely, too lenient given the severity of the crime. The case ignited a national debate over whether juveniles could be held fully accountable for such atrocities. The aftermath of the murder reverberated far beyond the courtroom. In the weeks following the verdict, the United Kingdom saw a surge in hate crimes directed at the families of the perpetrators, with Venables' mother's home being vandalized and Hughes's family receiving death threats. James's family faced relentless media scrutiny, invasive paparazzi, and a torrent of unsolicited letters, some offering support, others spewing vitriol. Subscribe to The Verdict for more stories like this.